All right, what's going on, guys? This is Out of the Park podcast. Today we have a special guest. We have Taylor joining us. If you want to give a couple words about yourself.
Hi, my name's Taylor, owner and founder of Season Of. We are a one-stop mental health platform.
So I kind of want to start off with getting into your business, if that's fine. So what kind of made you want to start your own business?
So it's actually a really fun story. I started out as a writer, and I was sort of half anonymous, putting out my short story poetry pieces online because I didn't really feel diligent at the time to write a book. So I started sort of anonymously posting my short story poetry pieces surrounding mental health and my journey online. I wanted to reach more people and really create a community surrounding my writing. And I actually had a really vivid dream one night. I woke up from my dream with the name of my company, the concept, and everything. And I filed my LLC that day. And I've been going strong ever since. I'm coming up on 4 years with Season of. We started out as a clothing and merchandise brand. Since then, we have expanded to throwing wellness events around LA. And my next phase of business is actually going to be media.
Wow, that 4 years is crazy.
I know it went by so quick.
So what's a wellness event?
So all of the events that we throw are non-alcohol based. So everything's sober, just overall. What I like to say for anyone that's never been to a single season of event, they want I want them to be gatherings as opposed to outings and as comfortable as a night in. So really just come as you are. You can come alone, you can come with a friend, you can come with two friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And my guarantee is that every event that we throw, you are going to leave with a new friend at least.
Wow, that's a. I would imagine there's a lot of people that show up to all the events.
I am proud to say that our largest event, we've done anywhere from 250 to 275 people.
Wow.
Yeah, and then as intimately as 60 to 70 people at a smaller scale. But what's really amazing about the community that we built around Season of is that everybody comes together so like-minded. It doesn't matter if you're sober, it doesn't matter if you're sober curious or you still do drink and you just want a different type of social environment. It's something that we offer, and every event that I throw, I like to add a different aspect of wellness. I've done yoga and sound bath. I've done salsa dancing. I always like to incorporate music. I've done flower bouquet making classes. I've had a private sushi chef.
Wow.
And I have a lot of up and coming artists that are very close friends of mine. So I like to showcase their art as well as another friend of mine who owns a mental health charity, and he's also a spoken word artist and a huge health advocate. So most of my events, I like to have him share a spoken word piece and connect with the audience and be the MC, and then showcase a lot of these artists and DJs that have their own art and music to share that represents their mental health journey as well.
Wow. No, it sounds like there's a wide variety of things that go on. I mean, the different things that you bring in and do during your events. What has been your favorite event in your?
Ooh, that's a tough one because they're all so different. But I would have to say more recently, last year's anniversary party. So it was 3 years in business, but the number three was just really powerful and prevalent in my life as well. I hit 3 years of sobriety and I was turning 30, and then my business is turning three as well. So I felt like it was something worth celebrating, and I just went all out. I had a custom mocktail bar. I had a private sushi chef. I had three or four music artists, a DJ. I had a Congo drummer. It was wild and fun at the same time. It was just a really, really special environment.
It definitely sounds like it was a lot of fun. That's a lot of wow. That's crazy. Well, congrats on your 3 years of sobriety. That's
Thank
definitely a
you.
huge thing. So what kind of made you choose to go sober?
In short, I really just wanted a change of lifestyle. I, from a really young age, and don't try this at home is what I'm about to say. But I started drinking and partying at a really young age overall to escape a lot of traumas and just emotional parts of my journey that I was not facing head on. And at the time, I was pretty young, so I didn't really understand like the correct way to process it. I just felt like going out and having fun and being around people was an easy distraction. So I I was partying for a long time and very hard, and I got to a point where I just felt like I didn't want to live like this anymore. I didn't want to be depressed all the time. I felt like partying and drinking and alcohol were only like furthering my depression um, and making me, run from what I needed to face. So once
Hmm.
I chose to go sober, it obviously wasn't super easy process to go through on your own, but it was super spiritual and powerful for me to be able to really find my way back to myself and feel like myself that I haven't really experienced since I was a child.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm turning 21 in a few days, and I've never really done much, so can't really. I mean, I've been blessed that I haven't tried anything, but I know it's not the life for everyone. I know there's a lot of people, like whether they're friends and just around me, like they enjoy partying, everything like that. And I mean, it's kind of a big thing in college, obviously. So, and you went to college, correct?
Yes, and that's actually one thing that I was super excited about when you reached out. I saw that you played baseball. I played softball in college. I was a pitcher and a second baseman and a slapper for anyone that is familiar with softball terms. But so yeah, I went to college. I went to school in Montana for 4 years, and yeah, and then I made my way back to LA, started being an adult.
Wow. So, why Montana though?
Honestly, so as I'm sure you already understand, like I played travel ball and I played softball I started playing softball at age 5. I started playing travel ball at age 8. And of course, like the recruiting process at the time, like, being young and looking up
Hmm.
to the Olympians at the time and like, I'm going to play in the Olympics. And then, of course, they took softball out of the Olympics. But my next goal was, I want to be a college softball player. I want to play at the highest level that I can, and I had a few different offers, around LA. I wanted, a true and different experience and an opportunity to see a different part of the country. And when I went on my recruiting trip to the school, I just felt like it was the right fit, and of all the recruiting trips I went on, it just made the most sense for
Hmm.
what I wanted out of my softball career.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, similar thing for me is like I wanted to find somewhere that was further away from home. I
Mhm.
had a couple schools I had talked to like further away from home, but in the end I chose a school that was only 20 minutes from my house. So that sometimes I think like, okay, maybe I should have went somewhere else just to experience what it's like to live away from home. I mean, I do live on campus, which is a great thing, but man, it's just so boring just because I grew up in this area. So it's like I'm just staying in this area for another 4 years just without my parents. But like I also go home most weekends and hang out there. So it's just like, but I definitely respect you for like moving away from your comfort zone where you grew up and everything. But Montana's crazy. I've never heard of anyone really going to Montana. Like, or from my perspective, like I've never met someone that like chose to live in Montana or anything. So,
I get that a lot, especially growing up in LA. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, like normal conversation, like where'd you go to school?" Da da da. I'm like, "Oh, I went to school in Montana. I lived in Montana for like close to 5 years," and they're like, what made you leave LA and go to Montana? And truthfully, I would not change it for the world. I had a really unique experience living out there. It's completely different than LA, of course. Montana is a lot slower paced, and there's a lot of really amazing salt of the earth people. I like to tell this story that kind of paints the picture of, growing up in LA and then experiencing life in Montana. One of my very first snowstorms. So I drive a Volkswagen Jetta, and even in college, I had a Jetta as well. So it's a small car, not ideal for the snow. And I remember I was trying to get through a intersection, and my wheels were spinning out. I was just I was not moving. I was stuck. My wheels are just spinning out, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Had no idea. Like, I don't have a snow scraper. I don't. I was very unprepared. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, bringing my little car out there, and I'm just like, oh shoot. So I looked in my car, and the only thing that I had that I thought would be helpful, which wasn't, was a note card. And I'm trying to take a note card and like dig out as much snow as I could from around my tires. And I saw this car pull up, and they were pulling up to help me. But me living in LA, and it's like, oh my God, nobody stops to help you on the side of the road, thinking like, oh, they're trying to rob me. So I got in my car and I locked my door, and I'm like praying. I'm like, please, I need to get out. This guy, like, this guy's gonna rob me. And the guy taps on my window. This like big guy with a huge beard. He taps on this window. He goes, I see that you have California license plates. I'm here to help. I'm not here to hurt you. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then another car pulled up, and there was like three or four guys that I never met or seen again. Helped push my car through the intersection, and I was stopping to try to say thank you, and they're like, just go, you're good. And it's truly a testament to how people in Montana are, just super salt of the earth.
Yeah, no, that's a great first experience with weather and snow and everything. I personally, even just living here a while, like there are some people that stop, there's some people that aren't, but I would definitely be a little worried if someone stopped and I'm on the side of the road. So that would definitely be a
Right.
little freaky for me. But yeah, I mean, I mean, at least they were helpful and they like helped you get going and everything like that. So that had to be such a great thing to have, especially with you being from California, not really knowing how to necessarily deal with snow and everything. It's definitely better that they helped you rather than you have to use a note card and everything. So
Yeah, I 10 out of 10 don't recommend a note card to try to try to get you unstuck from the snow in an intersection.
yeah, that's got to be very hard. Uh, so what was it like growing up in LA?
Um, so I don't know any different than growing up in LA. I know obviously living in Montana, I could understand the difference, but I would say growing up in LA, it's obviously very fast paced here. It's very progressive. You're in the heart of everything. So I think that it's easy for me to lose sight of what would be exciting to other people. I have some of my closest friends. Well, my best friend from college, she had never been to LA, and her and her now husband came to visit me. And I was like, all right, tourist attractions, what is it that you want to see, and what can I stray you away from, is what I tell most people. And everybody, which I totally understand, is like, I want to see the Star Walk of Fame. I want to see the Star Walk of Fame. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take you. And every time, because where I live literally like walking distance from where the Star Walk is. I can
Wow.
see the Hollywood sign from my window as we speak. And so I normally I'll bring people to the Star Walk, which is really just, a sidewalk for blocks with the
Hmm.
stars on it. And I usually drive past, and it is not to take away from anyone's excitement, but it is not my favorite tourist attraction. It's not all that clean either. So I I told her, I was like, all right, like there it is. You want me to park and get out? And she looks, she goes, that's it. And I said, yeah, that's it. And she's like, no, I'm good. Let's go on to something else. And I whenever people come to visit me, I give them the best LA tour, and I like to hit like, what I think is really cool. And I like to do food tours because I feel like we have a really great variety of culture out here.
Hmm.
So it's been really special. I grew up with two very different diverse type of family dynamics. My dad's side of the family is all from New York and Jersey, so I got a lot of like East Coast upbringing, and my mom's side is very foreign. My mom was born and raised in East Africa with Portuguese heritage, and my grandparents were very, very foreign. So I
Hmm.
grew up with a good balance, and I'm very grateful for that because it made me who I am today.
Yeah. I mean, LA's definitely it's a place I would consider visiting at some point in my life, but it's not I don't think it would be at the top. Like, yeah, seeing the Walk of Fame would be very cool, but like just hearing that it's not as exciting, maybe not on the top of my list. So is it I know I've heard it from like a couple people that have been there. So is it like true like you walk around and like you see celebrities and everything, or is it
It's
not
not
as common?
uncommon. It's not uncommon. I guess it really depends because there's times that I've gone to areas that you wouldn't expect to see a celebrity, and you could see somebody super A-list, and then there's times you could go to, for example, I there's a lot of like I have a lot of friends in the entertainment industry, so oftentimes like I'll go to premieres or stuff like that to support them in their endeavors, and those are, of course, you're going to see like exactly who you expect to see at certain
Mm-hmm.
events and music events and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not uncommon. It's not every single day, but like there's times, for example, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was driving to the grocery store, and um, passing me in the opposite direction was Adam Devine. It's
Really?
like you never really know. It's super random.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I feel like that's a fun thing if you're just driving around, you just look over and it's like a random celebrity that you've watched and everything. That I think would be the main reason I would want to go, is just to like be able to experience something like that, cuz in Pennsylvania we don't have very many celebrities, so like I'm not going up to a stoplight and being like, "Oh, there's Adam Sandler over there," or something like that. But
Right.
I mean, it'd definitely be fun to have that type of experience. Who has been like either your favorite celebrity or the biggest celebrity you've like seen?
Oh man, I guess it depends who you consider like biggest celebrity. So aside from my business, I also work in hospitality. So I have some high profile clients that I've met, and I wouldn't have ever expect to meet just randomly. I met Will I Am a couple, I would say like almost 2 years ago. He was a really fun and sweet experience. He's really down to earth and
Mm-hmm.
kind. I met I met Heidi Klum, um, Kate Beckinsale. Those are some people that I would see pretty often work wise. Anderson Paak. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I see people randomly all the time that I forget, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. But um, yeah, I see different people all the time.
Yeah. So are they from from the like celebrities and everything that you've met? Have they all been pretty much down to earth, or has there been like some that are just like don't talk to me, everything like that?
There's definitely been some that were not as friendly as others, but the way that I see it as well is that you know there are people too. They are used to having cameras in their face most of their lives, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
there's certain times that they just want to be normal and want to have dinner with their family, or just dip in and dip out of somewhere without being stopped or bothered, even though it comes, in my opinion, it comes with the territory, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I don't, for me personally, I don't think I could ever like be famous, because I feel like I'd like want to be able to go out and just enjoy life without having to get stopped every 10 seconds for like a picture, everything like that. So I definitely get that it has got to be a very hard lifestyle for them, just because like one thing hits for them, they go viral and they have all this fame, and it's like now you can't even walk into like a Walmart or anything without getting stopped. So it's definitely a
Right.
hard adjustment for them, I would imagine. But I mean, on the other side, like everyone can see them. They most likely have money, so it's like they have a great lifestyle, but I would imagine in their perspective, it's not as great as everyone makes it seem.
No, one of my best friends growing up was a child actor, and made respectfully a lot of money from a young age, and he'd be the first person to tell you that money does not buy happiness, and he's the type of person that like he has tons of money, but he still drives a Volvo. He
Mm-hmm.
shops at Goodwill, and those are the things that make him happy. He doesn't, he's very generous, but he's not somebody that cares about the flashiness. And if he's actually very introverted, which is funny because growing up, most people would ask that, like, "Oh my gosh, is he anything like his character on the show?" And I said, honestly, it's complete opposite. He's super introverted, and he just loves being home and in his comfy space.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy though, that he's the complete opposite and everything. But it kind of makes sense, because you are like, depending on what you actually do, like you're doing a lot of out of character things. So like like you said, like he's introverted. Like his character might have would have been what he would have been very vocal. I would take it.
Yeah, his character was, I wouldn't say very vocal, but like was super a little bit more outspoken than he is in real life, is what I would
Mm-hmm.
say.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's definitely an adjustment. But at the end of the day, like yeah, they most of the times people play these people in these shows and everything, and they're most likely the complete opposite. But I mean, it would be cool though if you got like a some sort of like acting role or something where it's like you're almost playing yourself. I feel like that would be very cool to like kind of experience that because it's just like you're going out there and being like doing what everything you already do. So, so if I were to visit LA, what would be like your top 3 places that I should visit?
So I think that obviously the Hollywood sign is worth seeing. It's beautiful, but personally, I would take you to see it from the Getty because the Getty is the best view of the Hollywood sign. Um, I would probably, depending on, I also like to gauge my LA tour by interests. So
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that you probably want to see Dodger Stadium. So like I would tell you to come out during baseball season. We'd go to a Dodger game, so that you can experience that. Or if you like basketball, you could experience the new Intuit Dome for the Clippers, or I still call it Staples Center, but Crypto
Mm-hmm.
Arena. Um, I like the beach, so I usually like to take people near the beach and um, do a short Santa Monica and Venice tour. But personally, my favorite beach to go to is Malibu, or Laguna. Those are probably the two cleanest and most beautifully scenic beaches. But as far as if you're looking for something more like happening, definitely Santa Monica or Venice is where you'd want to sightsee. And then of course, I'd take you down to Sunset and see, a few stops there, if
Mm-hmm.
depending on what your interests are and what you want to see.
Yeah, no, I mean those sound like Dodger Stadium. I've always wanted to go to, but it's on the opposite side of the country, so it's a little hard to visit that. But just from like watching games and everything, it seems like such a beautiful like stadium and everything compared to like some of the other ones I go to. Like being in PA, like I go to like the Philly Stadium. I'm like, okay, like this is nice, but when I see like Dodger Stadium on like TV, it's like, wow, that's a really nice place, but I mean, I would imagine it's very nice to see in person. So LA would definitely is on some sort of maybe like top 10 places I would want to visit before like my life's over and everything. So kind of getting back to like the content area, you make like a ton of different content, TikTok and everything, yeah?
Yep.
So do you enjoy it? Would be the big question.
I do enjoy social media. I feel like since a very young age, I started with MySpace and then to Facebook and then from Facebook to Instagram and Instagram to TikTok and Twitter and all of that. So I think the evolution of social media has been super fun and interesting, but I feel like since a young age, I've always felt most connected to social media as a way to express myself and to find community with others, especially on TikTok. I think that it's a very special place, especially when they took away Vine. I feel like TikTok is the closest platform to what Vine was becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope it's around to stay for a while because I do see a lot of not only people who have grown beautiful careers, but I've seen a lot of lives change in positive ways. I've seen people use TikTok to do a lot of humanitarian work or bring awareness to certain topics. And honestly, not to get like weird or conspiracy theory on you, but I do feel like TikTok has become a better source of real news than some news stations. It's not as biased and it's
Mm-hmm.
not like somebody's paying you to say this or that in either direction. It's real people giving their opinion. Now, of course, with the internet, you take everything with a grain of salt. You don't hold on to everything as the truth. You bring your own truth out of what you take from people and do your own research, of course. And another important piece of advice that I would tell anyone in regards to social media is don't compare your life to what others are posting on the internet because 98, maybe even less than that, 98% of people is what I'll say are only posting their highlight reel, only posting the happy times. I think that TikTok there are more people that will highlight the more emotional side of what they're going through, a little bit more of reality. And that's something that I really like to showcase. And I've I've been trying to find my niche for a while on TikTok. I found that a lot of people connect to two different types of content that I post, which is one, more of my mental health journey, and two, a lot of like dating humor from the past. I have a lot of funny, wild past with dating, so I, in good humored fun, will share certain stories. And a lot of the guys or girls on TikTok will come out with their own commentary on
Mm-hmm.
what I've been through.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of similar and different than you when it comes to social media because like obviously like we run this podcast and it's social media, everything like that. But I've found that like now getting into like doing posting content, everything like that, I don't like social media that much. Like yeah, it's like at the
Mhm.
end of the day, it's like something I have to do, and like I enjoy like making these podcasts and everything like that. But I just sometimes be finding myself sitting there scrolling TikTok for too long, and it's like, what did I accomplish? Not really much, just sitting there. So like I mean I've mentioned this in other pods, but like there are a lot of positives and negatives when it comes to social media. Like you said, like people gain a lot from it. Like they're now people make a ton of money from it. They can post their content, get out there, share their stories and everything, and that's the great part of social media. But in my opinion, it's like the downside to it is then you see a lot of people are just constantly on social media, and it's like it almost takes over their lives where to the point where like they're in their free time, they're not necessarily like doing anything but sitting on social media. So I think that's the biggest thing for us. And I mean, obviously, like COVID didn't help because everyone was pretty much at home. Like you're sitting there scrolling through TikTok, everything like that. So it definitely built like habits of just being on your phone and everything. I think that's where we kind of like lost a lot of communication skills. I know like when I was younger, like I never liked talking. So like I never would imagine I would be talking on a podcast right now. But it seemed like for me, COVID had the opposite effect where when we hit like everyone being in like their houses and everything like that, like I wanted to talk more rather than be on social media. So like talking to my friends, and then I just kind of build up that confidence to be able to talk in front of people, which I'm super grateful. And I know it was such a terrible like experience with COVID and everything, but I think it brought me more positives than negatives during that whole time, just because that's when I kind of realized I wanted to do social media and stuff like that. So then it gave me the motivation to. But I have very mixed emotions on social media. And like I said, like it's something that, I mean, we both have to do. Like we post, we make stuff from that. So it's like you can't really escape it once you like kind of start making a name for yourself on it. But I don't know.
It's honestly, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think that you make a great point, and it's very important that you really find a healthy relationship with social media, because of course, like, if it's so to my business, and in order to grow and reach more people, you have to be consistent with posting. And I would completely agree, there's times where I'm like, wow, I feel super unmotivated, or super uninspired to post. Am I oversaturating something? I want to be as authentic as possible, and how do I remain true to what I want to post while still keeping people interested and engaged without like being too fluffed, is what I like to
Mm-hmm.
say. So it's important to, I'm guilty of it. I'm like, am I really on here for work, or am I like on here for pleasure? I need to find a balance
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
Yeah, no, I do find like it very hard sometimes to even just like go on and post a video on TikTok, even though it only takes like once you outside of like editing content and everything, it only takes a couple seconds to post it. So it's like it really doesn't take that long, but it just takes everything out of me to make a video and post and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it is very enjoyable, and once you can kind of find that group of people you're kind of targeting, it's so much easier to make content that people will watch. What would be your like your biggest advice for someone that's trying to get into content creating?
My biggest advice in life is always stay true to yourself first and foremost. um I think with content creating in particular, find what it is that you're passionate about. And I'm a big note taker. I like to write notes and just to keep myself accountable, like I know that most, I would call them professional content creators, would probably, say create a schedule and posting and all that stuff. And just find, like I said, your relationship with posting and what it is that you enjoy about it, and move in that direction, and then
Hmm.
continue to learn and grow and be open to, learning from your peers or people that you admire online that you may or may not have access to. We are very fortunate in this generation to be able to have access to people at our fingertips. We could, even if they don't respond to a DM, you could find them on LinkedIn, you could find emails. There's just continue to have that grit if it's something that you truly want to do. And don't take no for an answer. Of course, like I always take the word no as next opportunity. It's not a no. It doesn't stop you or hinder you. It's like, all right, I'm gonna find next opportunity, next different direction. There's never any failures in life. Um, Truly, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry.
No, you're
I went
good.
on a rant. It's important that I'm just gonna follow back with what I said. Just stay true to yourself. I lost my literally I was on a tear and it just went.
No, yeah, I mean, I did like the point you had brought up that about saying you said something along the lines of we have all these people at our fingertips pretty much. And I think that is great because like that's how I connected with you. Like I was able to go on your TikTok and then ask you to be on our podcast. And there has been times where like people don't respond and it's like you can't really let that affect you as much because they have their own lives or like they do all their different content, everything like that. So it doesn't take anything to like reach out to someone, and I think that's what's great. And I mean, just from starting all of our content, like we've met a ton of great people that we wouldn't have met outside of it. And I think that my the biggest thing that I've learned that is connections are so huge in life. Like if you don't have connections, like you can go places, but it's not as easy, I would say, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I would definitely say keeping good relationships are important to a lot in life. I would definitely say that less of just the connection portion, but how you nourish your relationships further and long term. Like people are always going to remember you for being there for them, or people are always going to remember your kindness and how genuine you are. And that's one thing, if going back to living and growing up in LA, one piece of advice that I like to tell a lot of people that move out here or want to move out here is, again, stay true to yourself and don't um don't get super wide-eyed or excited by what people tell you. Watch what they do, because
Hmm.
there's you're gonna meet 1,000 people, not just out here, but around the country, that are gonna tell you, I'm this person's videographer. I could give you a record deal here. I could put you on to there. But in reality, you really have to see what what the actions are that back behind them. And I know a lot of people in my life that they're like, oh my gosh, like, can you connect me with this person or that person? Or how do you know this person? And I'm like, it's so crazy. I've known this person before they were this person. And we've been friends maybe since we were in middle school, or I knew them when they were first starting out their music career. And I would just simply, like go to all, for example, I'll give you a good example. I have two friends, they're a DJ duo, and I've known them since they moved to LA. And I knew them when they were just starting to DJ, and basically DJing house parties. I used to go to their house parties. I used to go to their small events. Now they're playing all the major festivals, and and people are like, oh, how do you know this person? I'm like, and his name's Alex. Alex will put his arm around me and be like, Taylor used to come when we were literally just DJing at these like random house parties, and used to yell just as loud for us and dance for us, as if we were, on these major stages. And it's really awesome for me to be able to see the same way that other people say for me they're excited to see my growth and
Hmm.
how far I've come. I feel the same way about people in my life being able to be a part of their journey and continue to further part of their journey, and get to grow together. And join forces at some point.
Yeah, I know. Like one thing I noticed just from like texting you before all the podcasts is you have a lot of connections. Like you, it seems like no matter what I say to you, like you know someone in that field. Like I think the biggest one that like I would say excited me is when we were talking about the Nelk boys and you were like, oh yeah, I know Jesse. I was like, wow, like that's
Yeah,
wow.
She and I are like close friends, but we really just knew each other from like partying back in the day, and we would keep in touch every now and again. I haven't talked to him in a while, but
Hmm.
one thing about I I feel like entertainment industry in general as well is like everybody is interconnected some way, and growing up here, I would say is and isn't helpful because I would say that when I was going out a lot, I would meet a lot of people, and I don't always know who, like, I'm good with faces. I'm not great with names all the time. I'm trying to get better, but there's often times I would meet people and just have random conversations. And I have a funny story actually. This one, like, this is just showing me being so out of the loop sometimes with that kind of stuff. So, did you ever see Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar with like people on Jersey Shore.
Hmm.
Okay, so I was at this party many years ago, and back when I was drinking, I was you know drinking and a little lit, and I was talking to this guy, just carrying conversation. We took a couple shots together, and I mean, we were kind of flirting, if I'm gonna be frank. And he I said to him like super nonchalant, like, "Hey, you're kind of cute," and he was like, "Kinda," and I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, I guess you're kinda cute too," like just being like silly, whatever. And I was like, "All right, well, I'll catch you later. I'm gonna go meet up with my friends." And I went to go walk over to my group of friends, and they were looking at me confused. I was like, "Why you guys have that look on your face?" And they were like, "Why were you over there talking to Vinny from the Jersey Shore for so long?" And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I was wondering why he looked so familiar. I didn't even register in my head that's who that was. And I was like, because I was literally when I'm talking to him, I'm like, this guy looks so familiar. I don't know where he's from. Whatever. Didn't even think
Wow.
twice. And all my girlfriends were laughing at me. They're like, you're so weird. So I was like, whatever.
Wow.
He
That's
was
a
cool.
that's a that's a crazy story. Wow. I mean, I guess I would say I'm the same way. Like I can remember faces, but like the names part just it always trips me up. Like we had I think we had like 30 freshmen come in this year and like just trying to like even just playing baseball with them. It took me maybe like 2 to 3 months to actually remember the majority of their names just cuz like I'm so bad with like memory and everything. So like I'm looking at them like, I think it's this. I think this is his name, everything like that, but wow, that's just being able to talk to him and just wow. I'm at shocked that that happened. That's crazy.
But yeah, I have a lot of like funny and random stories that like just going, I guess, back to your point about like you can meet celebrities pretty much in any setting, but in the entertainment industry, like it's everywhere. I'm just a supportive friend. I like to
Hmm.
go and support my friends, not really knowing what I'm getting into most of the time. And now that I don't drink, I'm usually just pop in and out really quickly. But back in my more social party days, I would have funny interactions like that, like not even realizing
Hmm.
who I was talking to.
Yeah, I would totally love to just randomly be in like a random place and talk to a celebrity, but my chances I wouldn't know who they are, and there are people that'll like I'll talk to my friends and they'll be like, "Oh, I met this person." I'm like, "I have no clue who that is." But then when they show me a picture, it's like, "Oh, I've seen them before." So it's definitely a funny thing with how everything works like that. So
Well, it's better that way. You want to
yeah.
treat everybody like they're another human being, and they'll in turn appreciate it as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I would imagine they probably appreciate. Now, I get like a lot of celebrities like they appreciate their fans, but I feel like they would appreciate you not knowing them rather than you like going up and like being like a super fan type thing. So I think
Yeah,
he was probably very confused when you're just standing there and you're not mentioning anything about that.
maybe. I mean, I'm sure he was more upset that I told him he was only kind of cute. I was like thinking about it, like, oh my bad, whatever.
Wow. You probably brought down his ego a little bit just by saying that. So,
Sure, he's all right.
oh, 100.
he probably
I would
went on to
imagine,
talk
yeah.
to he probably went on to talk to other cute girls.
So, wow, hold on. I just lost my train of thought. I was just thinking about that story. I was like that's a very crazy story, and it's crazy that I actually know who he is and like that whole thing happened to you, but that was crazy.
A little silly interaction. Funny.
So if you didn't start your own business or like start content or anything, what do you think you would be doing right now?
That's a great question. Jesus, I can't. A great question. So before working in my current hospitality job, I was working in law.
Hmm.
I know for dang sure that I did not want to work in law. It's not for me. And honestly, I'm not. I don't really have an answer for that because I feel like life works in such very interesting and magical ways that I would have never put on my bingo card that I would have been sober working in hospitality, and I would have never thought that I would have owned my own business. I've always been somebody that's done a lot of humanitarian work, and I've gone on missionary trips to other countries and stuff like that, but I've never I never thought that I'd be where I am today, and I'm so grateful for that because there was a point in my mental health journey that, almost didn't make it this far, and I just constantly am so grateful and continue to give myself grace in stressful moments, knowing that, it's not easy running a business, especially on your own. I of course have like people here and there that I hire to help with certain things, but for the most part, I'm running a business all on my own. I'm throwing events all on my own, and while having another job, it's not super easy, but I'm just endlessly grateful, and I never take anything for granted.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I would imagine running a business is very, very hard. So was it you? Was it just you that started the business, or was it like kind of couple people? Or
Just me.
wow, that had to have been
Yeah.
a lot for you to just kind of take on by yourself.
It is, but I always say when you're doing something you love, you never work a day in your life. And I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly finding new ways to learn and get better. And how can I, reach more people? How can I bring a bigger community together? So I'm working on a few different upcoming projects that I'm really excited about, and just scaling my events to be even larger with, you know, different charities and companies and businesses that, we can elevate each other and really utilize each other's communities to create something that is going to be like, I want Season of to be a one-stop platform for all things mental health. That's why so the clothing and merchandise part, I want it to be, if you find means of expression through what you wear, I want that clothing portion of Season of to be that. If you find means of community and seeking connection in a positive wellness environment, that's what our events are for. When I launch the media side, if you're looking for knowledge, if you're looking also to connect in a different type of way and learn and better understand other people's mental health journeys, that's what the media side will be for. And just overall bringing that together is going to be something really impactful for a lot of people. And I'm grateful for every message I've gotten this far of people wearing any of the merch, or people messaging me when's the next event, or just showing me any kind of love and support in what I'm doing, because it really does. Season of would cease to exist without, the support and other people that strongly believe in what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like even though you've only been doing it for 3 years, it seems like you've got everything down. Like everything's successful so far. Like, congratulations on building that. And I mean, it seems like it's such an effective brand, and like you've been doing it. From what I see and hear, you've been doing a great job. So congratulations on that. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
so the last question I have for you is, what piece of advice would you give your younger self, whether it's about life or just like starting your own business or anything like that?
Oh wow. I would definitely, as cliche as it sounds, I would tell my younger self to keep going, and I would honestly hug her and remind her that the the pain and emotional depths that I'm feeling are going to be my superpower in the future, and that you know continue to take it day by day and continue to stay true to myself and don't let this world turn my heart cold.
Hmm. Wow, that's a. I mean, I've never really. We haven't gotten that from someone, so that was a very great, good bit of advice. But yeah, I mean, it seems like you're able to find motivation out of just everything from your past, and that's great. So do you actually? Hold on,
No, you
I
can.
lost it
Yeah,
again. I was thinking of a question, then it totally slipped my mind right when I was about to ask it. But yeah, so kind of like yeah, the motivation thing is huge for me at least. Like there's sometimes where I just lack motivation and everything. So it's like, what do I do? And then I'm grateful that I have like a lot of people around me that have been able to help kind of like push me, like my family, friends, everything like that. And I think it's great to have like people around you that are in your corner always, whether you're going through a hard time or like they're seeing you succeed. I think it's just a great thing like that. And so like this will be my final question. Who would you say would be your greatest motivation?
my greatest motivation was definitely my grandparents. They shaped me and molded me into what I am today, and just both figures of unwavering love, and not only within each other but with other people, both very very selfless. And um my grandma was very very loving and giving and really the matriarch of our family, and my grandpa was also the beacon of like light and strength, and was one person that I didn't even have to tell him what I was going through. He would just randomly give me piece of advices. It's like he knew without even knowing. And they both instilled such goodness in me from such a young age. And I'm learning, as I grow older, and as it's been close to a decade that they've both been gone. I'm understanding more of their teachings and different things they said to me at a young age that make more sense as an adult. Those are my two biggest motivators. I have a great family. My parents, obviously, my sisters, and I am a product of my environment. I have the most incredible support system, and I've finally and truly really I've developed a very beautiful friendship surrounding as well. And I lost my best friend almost 10 years ago as well. It'll be 10 years in May since he passed. And he also it's like there's little wish that he was here to be able to experience a lot of the excitement that and success, and you know just good music that I know he would have really really loved. So I'm not only am I grateful for the living and the people that are here presently supporting me, but a lot of people that I've lost in the past few years that have believed in me from the start.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I've noticed that like there's been bits of advice like my parents give me or people that are older than me that give me, and like I've just it as you grow older, like you kind of really start to understand what they were actually talking about. Because like in the moment, for me, like there's some things like in the moment I was like, oh, like that's not right, everything like that. But like now that I'm almost 21, like I start to like actually see what they were talking about and like kind of put that into my life. And I'm just so grateful for all the people I have in my life that have given me any sort of like piece of advice that is now starting to play out in my life. But I, so do you have any questions for me?
Oh my gosh, I would have a million. I mean, what would be your greatest piece of advice that you have received so far?
Wow. I've never gotten asked that one. I think the greatest piece of advice that I've gotten, it's kind of simple, but it was just keep going. Like just keep going through anything. Like you just kind of have to turn something that's bad into something that's good. And just giving your all to everything as well. I know like there are some things that like I don't necessarily want to do, but like if I put in like my full effort, whether I like it or not, I can learn from it. I learn multiple different things from multiple experiences. And I know younger me would have definitely like shied away from doing things out of my comfort zone. Now I kind of embrace it, whether it's something I really want to do. And I've noticed a lot, I start to enjoy a lot of the things I don't think I would have liked. Like talking, like enjoy it so much more now than ever. So I think, yeah, just keep going no matter what has just been probably the biggest thing that I've received from someone.
And where do you hope to see yourself in the even in the next 2 years?
I mean, in the next 2 years, I'll be graduating from college. So I would, I would hope to see myself obviously still posting on social media, doing stuff like this. I kind of want to, I've kind of getting into like the road of wanting to do this full time. And like right now, it's kind of like a side thing just because I have a lot of other stuff going on with baseball and everything. But I think being like a full-time content creator would definitely be something I can see myself doing in whether it's 2 years or the next couple of years. It's something that I like to think I'm good at so far. And I mean, I'm expanding outside of podcasts. So just everything like that's been fun. But yeah, I would have to say being some sort of content creator, whether it's YouTube videos or even just making like baseball content for like the younger people, everything like that. I think something in the idea of social media is somewhere I see myself.
Actually, that just reminded me. I'm gonna send you a friend of mine Instagram. He makes a lot of like really cool baseball content that I feel like you might be interested in, or he might be someone you'd want to talk to as well. Um, my last question that I always like to ask all of my friends, well, it's like kind of like a two-parted question.
Hmm.
I always ask everyone in my life when we're having especially conversations like this, how's your heart today? And how are you doing mentally and emotionally?
How's my heart today? Uh, I'm kind of blanking.
Be honest. Be honest.
I mean, I think I'm just trying to figure out like an answer I can give. Like, I think, wow, this one stumped me. My heart. So when you ask that question, what do you kind of mean by that?
Like does your heart feel full? Does it feel heavy? Like what's on your heart today?
I think it feels full. Like, I mean, I love living, so like I can't really complain about anything that I have. Like, no matter whether I'm going through something bad, like I just always like love being here. Like just like love everything that I do. And so yeah, I would have to say my heart's pretty heavy. And you said your second part was
How are you doing mentally and emotionally?
I would have to say pretty good. Like I know there are days where I struggle mentally and everything like that, but I think today's a really I think it's a pretty good day today. There's a lot of exciting things going on in my life. Obviously, tomorrow I'll be 21, so that'll be a
Tomorrow's your birthday?
yeah.
Why did you not tell me that? I oh my good. Now we gotta sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you for that. That was
21.
yeah. I there's parts of me that are excited. There's parts of me that aren't. Like birthdays wise, like I'm not like I don't like the attention as much. Like it's like I it seems like I become almost overwhelmed with like the amount of text I receive on my birthday. So it's like that's kind of the time where I kind of shy away from my phone and just focus on everything outside of that. But it's I mean 21's a pretty big accomplishment so far. So yeah, I'm excited
That's
for it. But
year.
huh?
I said that's such an exciting year. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it's tomorrow. How exciting.
It just it for me like it seems like birthdays is like they're a big deal to a lot of people, but it's just like another in my eyes it's just like another year. Like it doesn't seem like much changes once you get like older. I feel like I mean like my as I get older like my body starts to like slowly break down and everything with sports. So it's like now I kind of get where like cuz like my dad doesn't he doesn't necessarily like we celebrate his birthday obviously, but like he doesn't really make a big deal as like when I was like a kid like I'd make a big deal like it's super amazing to turn another age, but like now as I get older it's just kind of like another day in my eyes. Even though I wouldn't say I'm like terribly old, like it's just another day. So, but it's definitely exciting. 21 years is definitely a big milestone for me. So,
I've gotten older. I find birthdays. I just like birthdays because I get to get all of the people I don't see as often in one room typically. But an important thing for me on my birthday, I also like to make sure I kind of wish my mom a happy anniversary on my birthday because I'm like, thank you for all that you endured to bring me here today and to keep me alive and breathing and to put up with my bad moods sometimes when I'm hangry and all those type of things. So make sure you give your mom some extra love on your birthday too. She'll
I
really
w-
appreciate it.
I will 100%. I'll be seeing my parents tomorrow, so I will 100% remember that, and I'll thank her for everything. But I just wanted to thank you for coming on here. This was a great podcast, just kind of getting to learn what you do every day outside of like your content and everything. I definitely will for sure be in LA at some time, and we're gonna have to film a in-person pod because I think there's a lot of other things that we can get into specifically, and I think it's gonna be a great in-person like type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to your visit. Let me know. You're always welcome with open arms.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for coming on. Your socials will be somewhere on the screen up here. Go give Taylor a follow. She makes fire content. I mean, I've seen her merch. I would 100% buy some at some point. It's a very how do I put it? Very unique. And the first time I ever reached out to you, like I looked at your website, I was like, wow, this is some pretty cool stuff that you're making. So I hope to see you
Each,
obviously.
each collection surrounds a different aspect of mental health. So I would really love any support. Seasonofmerch.com. Season of with 2 underscores on both Instagram and TikTok.
Perfect. All of that will be on the screen and in the bio. So go and check everything she has out. And I just want to say again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me, and I look forward to seeing you in person. Happy birthday!
Thank you.